The value of electronic utility payment fell by 44.86% in February, despite the Central Bank of Nigeria's Naira redesign policy aimed at growing cashless transactions. In February, the value of utility bills payment fell to 90.93 billion naira from 164.89 billion naira in January, according to data from the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, which signify a two-year low for e-bill payments. Since hitting 78.38 billion naira in February 2020, e-bills pay has consistently stayed above 100 billion naira, rising to 161.87 billion naira in February 2021 and 218.80 billion naira in February 2022. NIBSS describes e-bills as daily bill transactions that are accessible and seamless. It involves the payment of bills, fees, levies, premiums, and subscription through payment channels as e-bills. According to the NIBSS, the payments are done in banking halls through internet banking, mobile banking, USSD, and agent networks. Banks borrowing from the Central Bank of Nigeria's standing lending facility fell month-on-month by 14% to 453.7 billion naira in February from 528.15 billion naira in January 2023. Findings from the CBN's financial data for January and February 2023, however, showed that banks' deposits in the Apex Bank Standing Deposit Facility rose by same margin 14% to 668.86 billion naira in February 2023 from 584.79 billion naira in January 2023. The decline in banks borrowing from the standing lending facility reflects the current decline in money supply in the economy due to the various economic policy implemented since November 2022 to curb inflation and mop up cash in the economy. The bank money and credit data for January showed that Nigerians, in response to the initial deadline to the CBN's redesigned Naira policy, deposited 1.81 trillion naira into the banking system in January. Consequently, currency outside banks fell month-on-month by 70% to 788.9 billion naira in January 2023 from 2.6 trillion naira in December 2022. As the Central Bank of Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee completed its two-day meeting on the economy on Tuesday, economic analysts at Bloomberg have predicted that the committee will once again raise benchmark borrowing rates. According to Bloomberg, central banks in Africa's biggest economies are poised to raise interest rates this month to contain sticky inflation and deter a sell-off in their asset worsened by the collapse of U.S. lending Silicon Valley Bank and stress at Credit Suisse Group AG. Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, Morocco, and Kenya are some of the countries projected to raise borrowing costs in the next 2 weeks. A Bloomberg report on Monday said policymakers in Nigeria are expected to extend their longest phase of monetary tightening in more than a decade to tame inflation that is still near an 18-year high. Economists who contributed to a Bloomberg poll expect Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee to lift rates by 50 basis points, which translates to a 0.5% increase, which would take the MPR from 17.5%, which is following a rate high in January, to 18%. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has lamented the sustained upward trend in the price level, its significance and impact on household and business sector. Its Director General, Dr. Chinyere Alona, said apart from eroding purchasing power, it has also led to inventory stockpiles in the manufacturing sector. She said if left unchecked, the high inflation may further constrain production lead to a steeper rise in poverty figures, frustrate economic growth, and lead to higher unemployment and non-competitive export, especially in the sub-region, adding that these are not statistics that should be sharing the country in the near term. Almona said the chamber is concerned with the excessive focus on exchange and interest rate management at the expense of inflation. She canvassed the urgent need for monetary and fiscal authority to find an effective means of measures and policy to address inflation, especially staple food prices. The Economic Community of West African States on Monday raised concern over the low contribution of value-added tax to the tax revenue rate in Nigeria. ECOWAS blamed this setback on a policy decisions and compliance rate. The ECOWAS director of the Customs Union and Taxation, Salifo Tientori, expressed the concern in Abuja during a workshop on the production of the VAT tax expenditure for Nigeria, which was organized by the ECOWAS Commission under the context of the implementation of the support program for tax transition in West Africa. The PTTF aimed to improve the management of domestic taxation and ensure better coordination of taxation in the ECOWAS and West African Economic and Monetary Union regions. Tientori commended the Federal Inland Revenue Service for its performance in 2022 with a total tax collection of 10.1 trillion naira, with non-oil taxes contributing 59% of the total collection. He, however, said VAT contribution of 25% to the collection was relative, especially when compared with the 2021 tax collections, which had a VAT contribution of 47.1%. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, represented by the Director of Technical Services in the Ministry, Fatima Hayatu, lamented that the successive administration in Nigeria had demonstrated keen desire to finance government's investment in public services, critical infrastructure, security, among others, but revenue challenges continued to present a wedge to those commitments. The Nigeria Communication Commission has launched its Telecom Consumer Assistance Resolution and Inquiry Desk in the arrival launch of the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, Abuja. This development by Commission was part of its activities to mark the 2023 World Consumer Rights Day, and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport became the first beneficiary of Telcare Desk of the Commission. This was disclosed in a statement released by the Commission's Director of Public Affairs, Reuben Moka, on Monday. The Chairman Board of Commissioners of NCC, Professor Adeolu Akonde, who unveiled the initiative, said the launch of the Telcare is the beginning of the Help Desk project, expected to adore some airports and other similar public locations across the country. He said the project is a deliberate effort by the Commission to amplify its commitment to promoting the interests of consumers using various engagement strategies and initiatives to protect, inform, and educate telecom consumers. He added that the desk would serve as an additional channel for consumers to make inquiries on consumers' issues, allowing the Commission to provide advocacy on consumer concerns, as well as create awareness regarding the Commission's activities. The head Consumer Affairs Bureau of the Commission, Ayombaji Ojo, noted that many consumers transiting at the airport are already taking advantage of the desk even before the launch of the Telcare Desk to make inquiries or lodge complaints. The Regional General Manager of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Kabil Mohammed, also noted that the first-hand interface with consumers would not only expedite the feedback mechanism in addressing telecom consumer issues, but also curb unfair practices within the system and further bridge any communication gap between the consumers and its regulators.